Hans Westman here. We are going to continue in our series of introductions to Blender 3D software, this time creating a bowl using a curve, and at the same time also introducing the screw modifier, which would be very useful. So let's get to it. Let's start out by getting rid of the cube by hitting X on the keyboard and then selecting delete. This time, instead of adding a mesh, we're going to go down to curve. I will select a Bezier, but we could just as well also select a NURBS curve. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and select a Bezier. If we look at this a little bit closer by holding down Control and the middle mouse button, we can zoom in. Middle mouse button only to pivot around here. You can see that we have our curve, which is a line that is not straight. And if I go to the edit mode by hitting the tab key, you can see here that I have two different points right here. If we go ahead and move this around by using the move here, and I'm going to do this time in X, or I should say X and Z, like this. Control Z to keep this flat. And also on this side, you can see the same thing. If I were to grab a hold of one of these handles, you can also see that we have the ability to manipulate this curve to look in a certain way. But in this case, what I want to do to start with is select both of these control points, right click, and I'm going to set the type of spline to poly. And what you see here is it automatically straightens it out to a line. Next, what I want to do is go to the X view, like this. Actually, we want to go to the front view is what we want to do, and that would be Y. So that we see this from the side. And what I want to do here is first of all, select the side control point, and I'm going to start to construct a profile from which I'm going to revolve on a pivot point, an origin point, to create the shape that I want, which is going to be the bowl. So if I hit E for extrude, I can pull this down here. And if you notice, depending on where I have the cursor on the screen, I'll hit E again. It's also going to determine how I move this. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Hold it over here, hit E. This time I'm going to bring it up like this. E again. Hit E again. Extrude this one more time. E one more time here. And next what I'm going to do is hold down Control so that it snaps into place, and then click with my left mouse button to end the whole thing. Now, the next thing I can do here is I can select all of these vertices once again, or control points, right click, and I'm going to return to the Bezier. Here, what this gives me is the ability to, for instance, if I hold down Shift and the middle mouse button, middle scroll to pull this up here, I have this control point right here, but I also have the handles, which are a very sharp angle. And in the X and the Z, I can pull this here, and you can see the same thing on this side. I can make this round. Now I'm going to move, shift with the middle mouse button up here, do the same thing. Click here, pull this up about like that, maybe. I think that that would be all right. Do the same thing here. Click here, about like that. Same thing here. One more time. Should be able to do this pretty quickly, actually. And I'm going to take this one and just move this down about like this to make it a little bit thinner. This one I'm going to move down here, about like this. Hold down Shift, middle mouse button to come over here. And if we take a look at this now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this and move it over just a little bit so it's kind of in alignment with this. Not that it really is going to make a whole lot of difference depending on the tools that we have to work with in order to make this fit, but I'll just go ahead and do this anyway. There we go. Okay. So if I hold down the middle mouse button, you're going to see here that we have built our profile now. And what we're going to want to do is we are going to do a revolve so that we can build geometry out of this. And the way that we do this is by going over here from Object Properties to Modifiers, and we are in a set which has to do specifically with curves. Add this modifier, which would be screw. If I click on this, you can see right now that we have something which has happened. And right here you can see that there's some overlapping that's going on here. And that's because it's revolving around what would be this little orange circle right here. And this is our origin. This is our point of origin, or the origin point of the object. And what we're going to want to do here is change this. So if we go ahead and click on this little screen right here, real-time display modifier in the viewport, you can see that we have this little position right here. But if I were to, for instance, select all of these guys, go back again and move this to the side, you can see that this is going to disappear, and then it's going to be basically like this, which is what we kind of want the thing to be looking like. However, in this case, Control Z, what I would rather do is change where the position of the point of origin is. And I can do it like this. You can see here that there's also a bit of a difference as far as the positioning here. But you can see there's one handle there, so these guys are kind of lined up. And this is where we want to have the point of origin. So we're going to try to move that. And I can do that in a couple of steps here. First of all, I have this one selected right there. I'll select it one more time right there. And I can go to the curve drop-down menu, and under Snap, what we want to do is select cursor to active. This is active, so let's go ahead and try that and see how this works. Snap, cursor to active. Now we have the 3D cursor there. Next up, we want to go to the object mode. You can see that we have this little orange dot here, which is the origin of the object that was created, which in this case is the spline. And we're going to go to Object, Set Origin, and Origin to 3D Cursor. So now with this done, let's see what it looks like when we go and click on the real-time display modifier in viewport. Now you can see that we actually have this in the position that we want this to be. So we aren't dependent on having to move things around in a way we can actually steer how this is going to be working. And I'm going to click on Object Mode, go down to the Viewport Display, Wireframe, and now I'm going to hit the Tab key. So we were back again into the modifier like this. And we can manipulate this again. As you can see, if we go back to this, right here, we also have the screw. And let's say that you have a circle, you can see that we can actually move this up and down. We don't intend to do this right now, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's set this back to 0 by hitting the 0 key back here. I can also increase the number of steps here. A default quite often is 32. So I'm going to do that, and you can see that this is a little bit more rounded, and it creates the geometry that we want. Now what we can also do here is if we turn this off just quickly, let's go ahead and see how we can manipulate this a little bit more quickly. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, these two, and I'm going to go ahead and move these up like this. Let's take this one and move it back just a little bit, and then I can move a little bit closer, try to do this as quickly as possible. And I'm going to click on this edge right here, this one, bring it up like this, that one, bring it over here, and I can bring that down, possibly, like that. Let's make this a little bit sharper also here. There we go. And I'm going to bring this down. Oops. Here we go. Just doing a quick and dirty here in order to see what you can do to actually change the shape of this rather quickly. Okay, so now we have same curve, and let's see what it looks like now. So now we've changed this again, and that was the basics right there. We have other things that you can work with as well, as far as the center point and all that stuff, but I think that this looks pretty good. Iterations, not really sure what that's about, but this is all very basic. And yeah, that's it. Until next time.